hello everyone, welcome. This is the F1 Passport,
and we're the F1 Brothers.
All right, this week we're going to review the Italian Grand Prix,
Monza.
All right, so FP1, we've got Lewis Hamilton in first at a 121.537. Bottas in second, 121.972. They're both on Super Softs. Is it Super Softs? Yeah, they're both on Super Softs.
Yeah,
We've got Super Soft, Soft, and Medium.
Okay.
Or Medium, Soft, and Super Soft.
Yeah, yep. So you got all teams bunched up together: Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull.
With Ricardo on top of Verstappen for a change.
Not surprising to me.
I'm starting to lean to your side a little bit on Ricardo, especially after what he did this race.
Yeah, man.
Verstappen needs to settle down.
Yeah, all he has to do is just take a chill pill, man. Relax and drive the freaking car. Stop trying to win the race on the first lap.
Yeah. All right, so we've got Ocon in 8th, Van Dorn in 9th, and Grandpa Massa in 10th place, all on super soft tires. FP2, we get some rainfall. Things start to get a little exciting. Actually, it was kind of intermittent, right? Intermittent rain, I think, in FP2. We've got Bottas on top with a 121.406, except he's on soft tires this time. Lewis behind him, 121.462, so right on his tail. Vettel, Raikkonen, Verstappen, Ricardo, team by team. Van Dorn, Alonso, Ocon in 9th, and Massa, Grandpa Massa in 10th.
So they start talking about the engine penalties here too, and how many drivers are taking their 1,000 spot grid penalty for changing out engine parts.
This rule has to go. It can't wait until the end of the season. It needs to go now.
Yeah, but the whole purpose is to keep people from spending too much money on engines, right? So somebody like Ferrari or Mercedes couldn't just put a fresh, brand new engine in every race,
ostensibly,
and have an advantage. But so what's the solution? I mean, like the teams get around the rule by just they'll take up all their penalties. What I noticed also is that they'll retire their car on the last lap, which allows them to do a change of engine and sets them up for the next race.
Or something without taking a penalty for the next race.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. A lot of drivers were doing that this race. You got Alonso did it. I forget who this. A couple other drivers did it also. Last lap.
We also have Will explaining how Hamilton discovered his advantage at the last race at Spa.
He stumbled upon it.
He kind of stumbled upon it.
Put the engine in the wrong setting, and then, hey, I got something here.
Hey, whatever works, right? He also talked about the oil burning situation. So right now, teams can burn 1.2. Is it liters? I'd imagine 1.2 liters of oil. But after Monza, they can only burn 0.9 liters of oil unless it's an older engine. If it's an older engine, they can continue burning at 1.2. But any newer engines after Monza can only burn 0.9 liters. So Mercedes comes out and says, well, I think we're going to go ahead and start burning 0.9 now, just for the heck of it,
Right.
And a lot of people are calling BS on them doing that. But, I mean, if you look at their performance in Spa, it wasn't all that great.
Right.
Ferrari was right there with them. It's quite conceivable to me that they were burning 0.9 just to see if they still had an advantage.
They probably figured they had. It was a fast track. They probably figured they had an insurmountable advantage.
Right.
And they were surprised to find out that
they didn't.
That they didn't have as much of an advantage as they thought.
Right.
So they think that it's 1.2 liters per 100 kilometers.
Kilometers of what? What the heck does that mean? Is that miles? I guess over a certain distance, they can only burn that amount of oil. How they can monitor that, There's got to be some sensors or something in there to gauge all that. And then we move into FP3, which was pretty much rained out. Everyone's on wet tires. I think only the top 7 drivers even put up a lap time. Grandpa Massa on top with a 140.66. Then Stroll, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Palmer, Ericsson, and Kvyat. All right, so we go into Q1. Nothing really to report here. We've got Bottas on top, 135.716. I think it was intermittent rain in Q1. Hamilton at 136.009. Vettel, Verstappen, Stroll, Raikkonen, Ricciardo.
So then we have the crash by Grosjean at the beginning of FP1. They kind of put everything on pause. It looked like he was just going straight. You know, he was on a straight, going as fast as he could.
Yeah.
Hit a puddle of water and hydroplane. Couldn't control it. And
they had that newly paved portion on the straight that he was on when it happened, but he was just going too doggone fast.
And that was my point. You know, I was watching it like, dude, just slow down. Slow down.
Right.
Get a sense for the track, and then start trying to push.
And Niki Lauda said, we shouldn't stop a session just because that guy crashed out. You know, he'll crash out when it's not wet. But Niki Lauda is infamous for refusing to run a race because he thought it was too dangerous. He gave up a championship because he thought it was too dangerous to run. You know, so if anybody can speak on it, he can.
So can I say that the one thing that I liked the most from the rain delay was seeing Massa out juggling the soccer ball around in the pits.
Right.
It'd be a newfound respect for Massa just because he knows how to juggle a soccer ball.
Evidently, we didn't get to see everything that the folks in Europe got to see because Massa and his son were out there.
Oh, I did see his son come out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, his son came out. He's got skills, too. His son got some skill.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting.
All right, so after penalties, the starts will be. Actually, I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah,
so let's
Q2, Q3.
All right, so Q2, we had very limited running. I think only the top 15 cars even put up lap times. Lewis just seems to be in a zone of his own. He loves the doggone wet weather.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, and I saw a whole expose on Verstappen and how he takes the non-racing lines in the wet, and that's how he's so aggressive and can do things other people don't do. Nobody talks about Lewis. I don't know why he's able to go so fast. I guess it's just a feel for the car, a feel for when the tire is going to start spinning. But whatever it is, he's got it, man. He's got it locked in.
Right.
This freaking car. So we had your boy Kit Harington and Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones in the house.
So we had Jon Snow and Davos.
Jon Snow out there predicting or wishing that Ferrari. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Right. Well, he was
in nothing, Jon Snow.
He was in the Ferrari pit. So
right.
What else was they gonna say?
And
in Italy, and he had no choice but to back the home team. But he's British, right? I mean,
yeah.
So he's got to have a deep down affection for Lewis or Williams or
Palmer.
Or Palmer.
Punk ass Palmer.
Yeah, he's even on the grid still.
All right, so I've got notes for Q3. There's more rain in Q3 than there was for Q2. We had that big long delay. Mercedes and Ferrari came out on inners after that long delay, while Red Bull came out in full wets.
Yeah, Red Bull couldn't make those inners work, so they just had the hell with it. They went wets the whole time. I don't remember seeing them on inners at all.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But it was the right choice.
Yeah.
You know, because rain was, more rain was following. I saw one shot where Verstappen just went around Vettel like he was standing still. Yeah. You know. At about 10 minutes and 20 seconds, Mercedes in Q3 jump into the pits, and I hear your boy Steve Matchett saying that it's Red Bull's race now. They're not going to have time to come in and like it's
They had plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
It's like they're not going to have time to come in with 10 minutes left to go, put on new tires, and get around the track before the doggone time
You're
goes
just
out.
wishing out loud. That's all it was.
Actually, it was Hobbs that predicts that Red Bull will be on pole,
Okay.
as if there isn't enough time. Bottas came in before Hamilton. At 9:43, Verstappen is on the top. You got Raikkonen, Van Dorn, Ocon, Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel, Stroll, Raikkonen, Massa. And then Hobbs again predicts pole for Verstappen with about 9 minutes to go.
I mean, he almost got it. He put up a time right at the end of Q3. That was crazy.
Dude, I was jumping up and down, yelling and screaming. I couldn't. That was a phenomenal qualifying session. And to think that Bernie Ecclestone, he wanted to play God and put rain on the track. Actually took a doggone water truck and had it go around the track to wet the track up. You need consistent rainfall in order for it. You just put water on the track, it's going to dry up by the time one car goes around.
Push it all off the track.
He's trying to be God.
No, he could just put a sprinkler system in around the track.
They did talk about that possibility. All right, so at 8 minutes 38 seconds left to go in Q3, we've got Verstappen, Stroll, Raikkonen, Lance Stroll, dude.
Who was it? Villeneuve,
Jack Villeneuve,
who
doggone
talk trash, so much trash about him they don't even allow him into the hospitality suite. Yeah, he talks.
Dude got a track named after him.
Right, and he can't go
into the Williams Hospitality Street. Now everybody jumped on Lance. Everybody hates a rich kid that has everything given to him.
Yeah.
But this is a rich kid who's been putting in the work.
Yeah.
Who's evidently got some doggone skills. So, hey, game recognized. Game, I don't care where he came from, the dude can drive.
Well, I just thought it was cool to see all the young drivers driving really good in the wet. Verstappen, Stroll, Ocon. Yeah, they were killing it in the wets, man. That was good to see the future F1.
Right. At 5 minutes 34 seconds, we've got Ricardo on top. Verstappen isn't supposed to allow that.
Surprised.
Verstappen is getting ready to pull out that pimp hand
right.
and settle that situation. 4 minutes 41 seconds. Hamilton radios saying that he's down a lot on the lap, and his race engineer Bono comes on and says, he's quite animated. You never hear Bono animated like that. Negative, keep pushing. The delta time is on, and at 4 minutes and 19 seconds, he goes to the top.
Yeah, I feel like Lewis learned a lesson from Nico. I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago, and I think it was at Silverstone when he pulled in early from Q3, figuring he had it all wrapped up. The track got faster the last 2 laps. And here you had Nico and a couple other drivers knocked him off the P1.
Right.
I think he learned his lesson. He's not coming to the pits early anymore. He's gonna ride it all the way to the end.
Then at 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in Q3, Hamilton, Bono tells him to box. So Hamilton and his teammate are coming in with 3 minutes left to go to get a new set of wet tires.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what the hell are they doing? But
I mean, they don't need to put too much heat in the wet tires, do they? Before they turn good.
Yeah, I guess not. They can go out there and not need much of a warm up lap.
Yeah, they're supposed to be a lot softer than the intermediates. So I guess they were just assuming they wouldn't need to take too much time to put heat in them.
And Verstappen starts to get a little squirrely. He's, he finds the edge, man. I love watching that dude run in the rain. He's just, you just don't understand why he doesn't fall off the island. As many chances as he's taken, it's It's ridiculous. At 1 minute 45 seconds, we've got Hamilton on top, Ricardo, Verstappen, Ocon, Bottas, Stroll, Massa, Vettel. Vettel way in the back, man. Raikkonen, Van Dorn. And I'm sitting, you know, I'm
Like,
sitting on nails, man. You know, Lewis is on top. Hamilton personal best, first sector, same time as Verstappen. Actually, at 1:45, Lewis was on top, but then after that, Verstappen came around and came up on top, and I'm thinking, what the heck?
I thought it was done.
I thought that was it, man. And then I'm hoping, I want to get, what is it, 69?
Yeah.
We want to get 69 up in there. If Verstappen had been relegated back to the back of the grid, would he still be designated as the top qualifier? Yeah, that's my understanding.
No, my understanding is that Verstappen would get the pole. He would go into the pole interview.
Yeah.
With
we're
three drivers.
We're saying the same thing.
And then he would start. Then he just would
start the race differently. Right. Okay. So I'm sitting on pins and needles, and then we get Lewis's final lap after putting on those new wet tires. Personal best, sector 1, same time as Verstappen. Stroll is to third. Hamilton fastest middle sector. Ricardo into second, and then Hamilton on top. Takes it back. Ace job.
Over a second over the faster than the field. Over 2 seconds faster than his freaking teammate. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, what the hell is Bottas doing, man? Like, I was pissed, dude. Pissed. He's all the way down to 6th place. So, and my thought is, first of all, Ocon out qualified the hell out of Perez.
Okay.
Ocon made it into Q3. Perez went out in Q2.
Grandpa Perez.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's good for his, bitch assness. He's stuck back there.
His bitch assedness.
Yeah. And then, my thought immediately was, can Stroll and Ocon hold off the freaking Ferraris?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping, but back in my mind, I knew better. I should have known better.
Should have known. All right, we get into the race. We are with all the changes. We're starting with Hamilton on top, Stroll, Ocon, Bottas, Raikkonen, Vettel, Massa in 7th, Kvyat, Magnussen, Perez way down in 10th, dude. Ericsson in 11th, Berline in 12th. Then Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Ricardo, punk-ass Palmer, Van Dorn, Alonso, bitch-ass Alonso. We need to come up with something. Because he's bitching all the time.
Fucking whiny-ass Alonso.
And then Rogro, Mr. We shouldn't be qualifying out here in these kind of conditions. No, you shouldn't be qualifying out in these conditions. Everybody else is fine.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like, okay, how the hell is Vettel or Ferrari gonna let Vettel get past Raikkonen this time? Did we even know how he got past him?
Yeah, I saw it.
Just happened.
I'm gonna put it up on. I'm gonna show the pass. One of the guys on the podcast said Raikkonen pulled over and laid over on his belly and let him rub his belly on his way by. Disgusting, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not even racing anymore, man. When you're doing that, it's not even racing. It's like you're just out there freaking going through the motions and doing some fake simulation.
Pencils for him too.
Right.
Is he shining his shoes?
Getting his coffee, getting his dry cleaning for him. I mean, if he's that freaking good, if Vettel's that good, he should be able to just do it. Like he shouldn't need anybody to take it from him or hand it to him. And why is he even happy to take it, and still feel like he's doing something?
Yeah, who feels good about that kind of crap, man? That's what gets me. He did that though when he was at Red Bull.
Yeah, he's all too happy to take the handout.
Yeah, no problem.
We can get on stage and start speaking Italian. That's one thing I'll give Vettel credit for, is learning the language of the team that he goes to. But the rest of that crap, dude, man up, man up.
So lap 1, Raikkonen nearly passes Bottas on the first couple of corners. They actually bang wheels. Raikkonen actually eventually gets past. And I'm thinking, dude, this can't happen.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable. Bottas, this can't happen. Ocon passes Stroll at the start. Grandpa Massa and Perez collide at the first chicane.
So what about the very start with Hamilton? Looks like Hamilton got off to a good start, but Stroll got off to a flying start.
Yeah.
Lewis had to come and cut him off.
Right.
To keep, otherwise Stroll would have went past his
Put the
ass.
smack down on him.
That was a masterful. Like he just like snatched his whole heart away from him, jumped over in front of him.
I think they interviewed Stroll's father at the beginning of the race, and he said, Lance has nothing to lose, so he's been told to go for it.
Right.
But you don't want to mess up the championship race. I'm glad he did back out. All right, lap 2, we've got Bottas. It gets past Raikkonen. And Stroll is next.
So I was thinking, looking at Raikkonen trying to get past Bottas, I'm thinking to myself, Raikkonen needs to get past Bottas. Otherwise, he's going to get the team orders put on him and end up behind Vettel. If he could have got past Bottas and Bottas could have held off Vettel, then Raikkonen might have actually been able to drive a freaking normal race.
Might have had a chance to get a podium.
Yeah, might have had a chance to actually race a car instead of just sitting back there in the autopilot with his hands on his head, waiting for the team driving the freaking car for him.
Waiting for somebody to drive by and rub his belly.
Right.
Lap 3, Verstappen is up to 8th from 13. Impetulant Dutchman.
Win it all in one lap.
Win it all in one lap.
Pass everybody.
Bottas gets past Stroll. Verstappen collides with Grandpa Massa. Gets a flat tire.
Who'd you put blame on that one for? Massa was on the outside. He had the outside line, and Verstappen just kind of. It seemed like Massa kind of came over a little bit, but still, Verstappen, I thought, initiated the contact.
Yeah, I thought Massa, he's a little too aggressive. He's a little too grumpy as an old man. He needs to be a little more accommodating. I think he could have given a little more room.
Yeah.
But then Verstappen, man, if you see that the room is not coming, you got to bail out.
Get off the gas, slow down, and then then the steering wheel might actually work if you slow down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't go sliding into everybody like he seems.
You got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him. Bottas, he got past. He just let it happen.
Yeah.
And relied in confidence that he'd be able to make it back up.
And that's the thing. He would have eventually got past Massa's slow ass. He eventually would have got past him.
Right.
Just a little bit more patience.
All right, lap 4, Raikkonen pulls over, lets Vettel rub his belly as he passes by. I mean, they're just not even trying to disguise it. And he signed for another year. Did he have to agree to continue being a little bitch? Did he have to castrate himself?
He had to agree to take the second testicle. He already took the first one. You got to agree to give up the other one. And you get to drive the red car, shiny red car.
Bottas is on a tear. He gets past Ocon. Verstappen and Rogro go into the pits.
Yeah, Bottas was driving like a madman. He was going for it, dude. He realized how crappy he did in qualifying. He was trying to make up for it.
He had to.
Yeah.
He had to. Lap 5, Bottas gets fastest lap at 126.205. Vettel gets past Stroll. Ricciardo passes Hulkenberg. My drive of the race so far is the patient yet persistent, your boy,
Yes, sir.
Ricciardo. Lap 6, nothing really to report. Verstappen changed tires. He's on super softs now. Runs fastest lap, 125.820. Same thing, lap 7. Verstappen fastest lap again, 125.78. No passes, no changes in position.
Did Vettel get past Ocon, or was that lap 8?
Yeah, I got that on lap 8. Yeah, I got that on here on lap 8. So lap 8, we've got Vettel passing Ocon. We've got Ricciardo getting past Magnussen, and Palmer, bitch-ass Palmer, getting past Ericsson. Raikkonen's on the radio asking if there's any damage to his rear,
Yeah, so lame. Sounds like a lame excuse for him getting passed up. Do you think he was really having problems?
It didn't. His lap times don't show that he's having any problems. You know, he's running one. Well, actually, it does. He's running 128s. Previous lap, he was running 126s. This lap, he's running 128s. The next lap, he gets back down to 126s. So, who knows? But the team is like, we don't know what you're talking about. Everything seems fine. Buckle up.
Go there and click that button back on.
Buckle up and keep driving, son. Lap 9, Bottas gets fastest lap, 125, 287. No position changes. Lap 10, Hulkenberg comes into the pits. There was a review of the collision between Verstappen and Massa, and race control comes back and says no further action. Hamilton gets fastest lap on lap 10. Nothing really to report. Lap 11, Hamilton fastest lap again, no position changes. All right, lap 15, we've got Hamilton fastest lap, 125.233. He's on 14 lap old tires, super softs. Alonso pushes Palmer wide. Again, they did the same thing last week, right? With the last race. Palmer cuts the chicane and gets past Alonso, and Alonso gets on the radio and rats him out as only he can. He needs to give me the position back. And then Alonso says these upshifts are killing our race.
What upshifts?
Complaining about
gears?
Complaining about the performance of the car. Lap 16, Hamilton another fastest lap. Raikkonen pits. Verstappen passes Rogro on the straight with DRS. How do you feel about DRS? Is it fabricated?
It's kind of stupid to me. I don't think it has the effect that it's intended to have.
Yeah.
You know, people are always trying to stay within 1 second or more from the car behind them. But even when the person gets in the DRS zone, it hits the switch. The car in front has another switch they can hit to add more boost to the engine or more power from the battery, and it just kind of nullifies the advantage of the DRS. So I don't know.
You know, when it first came out, I think I overthought it. I was thinking things like, this is going to make it so that drivers don't take unnecessary risk. They know that there's a spot on the track where if they're faster, that they'll have a chance to get by. That's one of the things I hate. I used to equate the business world to Formula One racing, where you can have a faster car, but you're behind someone with a slower car, and you just can't get past them, because of the aerodynamics and all that stuff. But so I felt like DRS was a good thing, but now I'm not so sure. All right, lap 17, Ricardo gets past Perez.
You see the dummy move they put on Perez?
No.
Fake like he was going to go this way. Perez moved over, and then he went back around that way.
Around the outside.
That's brilliant.
All right,
Dummy
I
into it.
think I have video of him.
Yeah.
Put that up. Lap 18, Hamilton on fastest lap again. Stroll comes into the pits, and so I watched this show. Mercedes evidently has this on YouTube. Their technical engineer, strategist, gives a podcast and explains strategy. And he was saying that Lewis and Bottas they didn't expect to be so fast
at this track.
So they were thinking, because it's a fast track, that the undercut will be in play, and that they may have to come in sooner if Vettel or whoever's behind them close enough to them, and they'd have to negate that undercut by coming in sooner. But they were so fast that they jumped out ahead, that then they just started looking for an open window. If we come in now, where's that going to put us? Is that going to put us behind the car and not have open air in front of us? And they had Ocon and Stroll behind them, so they were just watching them to see, and they expected Ocon to come in at a certain time because he had an open window, but he stayed out longer than they expected him to. And then Stroll, they expected him, because of that, to be able to get an undercut and be in a pretty good position. But Stroll comes in on lap 18 and has an uncharacteristic slow pit. Magnussen passes Verline on lap 18, lap 19. Lewis has a minor off. Not sure what happened, how it happened. If he's adjusting a dial or something, or just who knows if the tires are starting to fall off. Who knows?
Yeah, saw a fast lap time, at least on that particular lap. Let's see what the next lap was pretty fast too.
Yeah. So is he pushing too hard? Maybe.
Yeah, probably just pushing hard. It's just like you said, looking down at the steering wheel, just adjusting something.
Right. Lap 20, it's announced that Palmer gets a 5-second penalty for gaining an advantage against Alonso, who thinks this is a yoke. This is a yoke. But then Hobbs mentions the lack of action against Vettel in Baku. He's like, you're going to give this guy a 5-second penalty for something he didn't do intentionally. And then back in Baku, something that Vettel did definitely intentionally, he only gets 10 seconds.
Right.
The race stewards, man, we need consistent race stewards. That's their full-time job, and they go around. I don't know why we have guest stewards every race. That just invites inconsistency.
Well, I mean, everybody in F1 needs to stop going on a campaign to help Vettel be successful. It's like Ferrari's doing enough of that on their own. We don't need the freaking stewards and everybody else to help them out. If you get mad, you roll up next to somebody, you run into their car, you should be disqualified. At least from that race.
Right. All right, lap 21, Ocon passes Van Dorn. Now he's behind Perez. So I'm thinking, oh, here we go. I think he's pretty far behind him. But still, we've got Perez, who hasn't pitted yet, and Ocon right behind him. And I'm thinking, here we go again. Sainz passes Verline. Lap 22, Grandpa Massa finally comes into the pits. And then something happened weird. This doggone F1 app seems to do something weird every race. Palmer jumped from lap 20. He was riding in 11th position, and then lap 22, he's in 20th position, but he didn't come into the pits, so I'm not sure what the heck happened there. Jump up to lap 24. Palmer is back up to P11.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's happening there. It must be some kind of timing and scoring issue. Grandpa Massa passes Van Dorn. Lap 26, Raikkonen passes Ocon. Lap 28, we get a Will Buxton prediction. He's predicting that Ricciardo's on a tear. He might get a podium. A nice, measured, consistent drive all the way through the field. Lap 29, Verstappen pits. And then we get the mention of Jacques Villeneuve not being welcomed in the Williams hospitality. That's unbelievable. Lap 30, Hamilton's 23 seconds out in front of Vettel. 23 seconds.
Yeah, so not only were the Mercedes cars faster, but I noticed that their tires are holding up longer than the Ferraris were on this track also. It was like a complete smackdown. And we talk about Lewis's comments on the podium.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
He just rubbing salt into the wound.
Yeah, smacking. I love it. All right, lap 31, we've got Verstappen with fastest lap, 124.743. Vettel pits on lap 32. And I saw this on the US feed. Verline gets past Ericsson. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, right.
That ain't supposed to be happening on that Swiss team. Poor Verline, man. His career is done. He's going to have to go back to DTM.
Yeah, done before it started.
Yeah, so I couldn't figure out why when Verline was at Manor and then Ocon came there late.
Yeah. Why Force India chose Ocon.
Yeah. At the time, I figured, heck, maybe they must see something that we don't see. And,
I thought Verline was the future of the sport.
He was,
Mercedes, young driver. I thought they might be trying to push Lewis out the way to get the German guy up in there. And then
Afro-German.
as soon as they picked Ocon, I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! Maybe they see something in the numbers that we don't."
Right. Something in the simulator.
It's something that right, or something they just don't like about Verline. You know what I mean?
Now, I have heard that Verline's got a bit of an attitude.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Who knows? Lap 33, Hamilton pits. Another fast 2.5 second pit stop. That puts Bottas in the lead, but then he comes into the pit the very next lap. Perez pits, has a right rear issue. Slow pit stop. Lap 35, Verstappen passes Alonso. Van Dorn retires with another freaking power issue. The GP2
Verstappen
engine
went around Grosjean and touched tires. I think you have that on lap 35.
Actually, I've got both of those things happen.
Okay.
I've got Verstappen passing Alonso, Van Dorn retiring, and then Verstappen passing. It's a 2.2 second pit stop. Red Bull. Now, when we were at all the races that we've been to, we could notice Red Bull constantly practicing their pit stops.
Rolling the car in.
Pushing the car in and then jacking it up. And I mean, anytime they get a break, they're out there practicing their pit stops. Alonso gets on the radio and asks, "Where's Palmer? Is he planning on attempting some vehicular homicide on him?" I mean, that's the sense I'm getting. And the team tells him that he's retired. Alonso yells out, "Karma. You leaving Ferrari for McLaren
is karma."
And then the very next season, Ferrari getting on the podium and winning races is karma.
Alonso, don't let him give you any picks for stocks or anything like that, dude.
Right, no lottery picks. I don't want any numbers from Alonso. He just can't get it right. Then lap 41, we've got Ricciardo passing Raikkonen from way back.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite passes, man. He came, he outbraked the hell out of him late into that turn and made the pass. I thought that was nice.
That to me, that pass doesn't happen unless Raikkonen allows it to happen. He's got to be smart enough to, you know, he rolled over again and let Ricciardo rub his belly going by. That was just.
I think Ricciardo's one of the best at overtaking on the circuit. He makes it look easy sometimes the way he passes people, and he's done it so many times that it's too much to be a coincidence. This dude just knows how to make some overtakes.
I think it has something to do with the reputation that he has with the other drivers.
You think they don't give him a hard time?
They don't give him a hard time. They know he's fair. They know he hasn't done anything to rough them up,
right?
You know, in the past. So they'll give him some space, you know. All right, lap 44, Verstappen's on a tear, bull in a china shop, taking people out, whether they like it or not. Passes Hulkenberg. Ricciardo 9 seconds behind Vettel. He's on a tear. These Red Bulls are fast, man. They got new. They took these penalties so that they can put in these new engines.
Yeah.
So there may be something here.
Yeah.
They might have Ferrari's number.
We're going to see a repeat of a couple of years ago where Mercedes are just nowhere to be found, and Red Bull and Ferrari are battling for the podium
For this next race.
for the next race.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I'm thinking with the new rule change that burning 0.9 liters, it may have hurt Ferrari more so than it did Mercedes. But I'm sure Ferrari got a bag of tricks, bag of cheats, make up for it. Lap 46, Verstappen passes Kvyat now, carving his way through the field, whether you like it or not. Lap 47, you got something?
Yeah, I thought, Magnussen complained that Verstappen ran him off the road when he passed him. I didn't think so at all. I thought it was a pretty fair overtake. Magnuson just overreacted, ran off the track,
Right.
and tried to get the spot back.
Yeah, that was lap 47. So Verstappen got Kvyat lap 46, and then he got Magnussen lap 47, but collided with Magnussen. Yet another driver he's colliding with on his way. The first pass was clean. He got past him, and then Magnussen got up with him again, and Verstappen said, "Look, dude, I've had enough."
Yeah.
Lap 49, we get word that the incident between Verstappen and Magnussen is under investigation, but I think there was no result from that. So lap 50, Lewis had been running in, let me see, he was running pretty slow. Turned the engine down, trying to protect it. He was running 123.96 on lap 48, 123.8 on lap 49. But then he gets fastest lap on lap 50 with a 123.5, going for that Grand Slam. You know, so Grand Slam is you get pole position, you lead every lap, and you get the fastest lap. You know, any chance you get to get that, and he's racking up the Grand Slam numbers. I haven't seen anybody report on that recently.
I thought when he went into the pits, Bottas took over the lead of the race, but I guess he didn't lead for a full lap because he came into the pits the next time around.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that counts if you come into the pits. I'm not even sure if a Grand Slam is contingent upon leading every lap. Maybe it's just majority of the laps. I don't know. But any chance Lewis gets to get that Grand Slam, even if he's going to sacrifice his engine
in the process,
he's going for it. But then lap 51, Ricciardo comes back and takes fastest lap, nearly 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, trying to track down Vettel.
Lap 52, Ericsson retires. They call these strategic retirements.
Strategery.
Ericsson and Alonso, so that they don't take a penalty next race. And then the final lap of the race, man. How do you feel about what Massa would try to do to Stroll in that final lap?
What did he do?
Massa is behind Stroll. They've got Perez right behind Grandpa Massa. And Massa is putting the heat on Stroll, trying to get past him.
You're giving the car
giving Perez an opportunity. I mean, you got the cars in 7th and 8th positions. You're about to bring home some serious points, and Grandpa just can't sit back there and allow it to happen.
Yeah.
You know, you got Claire Williams, who's 6, 7, 8 months pregnant.
Right.
How can you do this to Claire, man?
Right.
She doesn't need the stress right
Take
now.
it easy on Claire Bear.
Ridiculous, man. I thought that was disgusting.
So he ended up losing a spot to Stroll, right? Because Ocon came in 6th. Who was it he was doing it to?
To his teammate, to Stroll. He's behind Stroll.
This is Massa trying to get past Stroll.
Trying to get past his teammate on the final lap. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, I lump Massa and Perez into the same bucket now. Just disgruntled old men.
One a little more old and a little more disgruntled than the other. Perez still has some stock left in the game, but
that's because he has funding behind his name. But that's it. They talked about that a lot this race too. About how he has the funding, and he may end up in a situation where the team has to decide: do they want that money or do they want a young up and coming fast driver, right? Or does Oko just move on and say the heck with it? What'd you think about post race? What'd you think about the two Mercs riding side by side?
it's a beautiful scene, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little corny, but I get it. It was cool. It was cool to see the camaraderie. I cringe a little bit when I see Lewis all super anxious to hug Bottas and try to be all buddy friendly. It almost feels like he's trying to prove a point that how things are different now. That
he's trying to help us your buddy
Nico is gone.
Nico.
Yeah, right. It's like he's trying to prove a point. It's almost like he's pouring it on too thick. And So I thought that was a little corny, but I don't know. I get it.
I think that's Lewis's way of saying, you know, I want him to get a new contract. And
Yeah.
Bottas, you know, they're playing PlayStation during a rain delay.
Yeah, I thought that was
a little
that was
corny.
a little corny too. Lewis was almost like, you know, it was like a puppet master telling him when he could speak and it was just weird, man.
Then we get onto the podium, and you got your boy Martin Brundle doing the post-race interviews. And I mean, is it just me, or I mean, does any other racer get booed like that? Does every racer that wins at Monza who's not a Ferrari driver get booed like that, or is it just Lewis?
Yeah, I think it's Lewis isn't helping the situation by making those comments. Like
I love that shit, man. I love that shit. So Lewis says that Mercedes power is definitely better than Ferrari power. So, you know, it worked well this weekend. And then Martin Brundle goes, "Oh, ooh, volcanic."
I guess. Yeah, I mean, firstly, Mercedes power is definitely better than Ferrari power, so it worked well this weekend. Volcanic.
Damn right. Damn right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that shit. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it must feel like to be there in that situation and have people booing you and how you might respond or whatever. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have said that.
Oh, at one point, Lewis was like, you know what? I'm like, oh, Lord. Anytime somebody starts out with that, there's going to be something not so nice to come out. So all in all, it was not a very entertaining race.
Yeah.
I think qualifying was far more entertaining than the race itself. Yet for us, for those of us who are on Team LH, anytime you get a boring race, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you see that somebody tossed Lewis's phone up and he started taking video up there on the podium?
I heard them talk about that, but I didn't see it get tossed up.
I saw it get tossed up, and then I follow Lewis on Snapchat, so you can see his video from Snapchat angle when it went up on the podium. That was cool. Okay. That was really cool.
All right, guys, that's it for this race. Number, what was it, 69?
69.
Number 69, baby. Congrats, massive milestone. We'll do a news review next week.
Yep.
And then we've got Singapore
In 2 weeks.
in a fortnight.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Later.